U.S. President Donald Trump is coming after a bridge that will connect Canada and Michigan. In a Truth Social post last night, the president wrote, "Canada is building a massive bridge between Ontario and Michigan. I will not allow this bridge to open until the United States is fully compensated for everything we have given them. We will start negotiations immediately."
The Gordie Howe International Bridge may be delayed. President Trump is threatening its opening, claiming Canada isn't treating the U.S. with fairness and respect when it comes to how this bridge is paid for.
The Gordie Howe International Bridge between Detroit and Windsor is almost finished, and it's supposed to become one of the most important trade corridors in North America. But recent threats to block its opening have raised a simple question. What's really driving this dispute? In this video, we'll break down the economic incentives behind the controversy in plain terms. To understand the stakes, it helps to start with the basics. The Detroit-Windsor corridor is the busiest commercial border crossing between the United States and Canada. Billions of dollars in goods move through it every week. Automobiles, auto parts, agricultural products, retail goods, and countless components used in just-in-time manufacturing all depend on this route. The existing Ambassador Bridge handles most of this traffic, but it's nearly a century old, privately owned, and frequently congested. The new Gordie Howe Bridge was designed to relieve that pressure, modernize the crossing, and create redundancy in case of disruptions. Canada financed almost the entire project, including the U.S. Customs Plaza, because both countries benefit from smoother trade. The goal is simple: reduce delays, lower transportation costs, and strengthen supply chains that link the two economies. But when political leaders threaten to block the bridge from opening, the question becomes, who gains, who loses, and why would anyone want to stop a project that improves trade for both sides? If the bridge is blocked, the economic costs for the United States are straightforward. Keeping all traffic on the Ambassador Bridge means longer wait times, more congestion, and higher shipping expenses. These costs ripple through the entire economy. Manufacturers pay more to move parts. Retailers face delays. Consumers ultimately pay higher prices. Relying on a single aging bridge also creates a single point of failure. Any disruption, whether from maintenance, accidents, or protests, can shut down cross-border trade for hours or even days. And slower, more expensive logistics make American exports less competitive and raise costs for domestic producers. So why would a political leader consider blocking the bridge? This is where the incentives become more complex and where the role of the Mulroney family deserves careful attention. The Ambassador Bridge is privately owned by the Mulroney family, who have held a near monopoly on this crossing for decades. Their business model depends on toll revenue, and a new publicly owned bridge directly threatens that revenue stream. For years, the family has opposed the Gordie Howe Bridge through lawsuits, lobbying, and public campaigns. Their goal has been consistent. It's been to protect the profitability of the Ambassador Bridge. This strategy has been to either prevent competition or delay it. Recent reporting has highlighted that representatives of the Mulroney family met with senior U.S. officials shortly before the public threats to block the Gordie Howe Bridge were made. This does not prove a direct causal link, but the timing, combined with the family's long-standing financial interest, has raised legitimate questions. The Ambassador Bridge generates significant revenue, and a competing crossing could reduce that revenue for decades. From a purely economic standpoint, the Mulroney family has every incentive to oppose the new bridge. From a political standpoint, supporting their position can be framed as defending American assets or challenging foreign ownership, even though the underlying motivation may be more about protecting a private monopoly than advancing national economic interests. If the bridge opens as planned, the economic gains for the United States are substantial. More capacity means shorter wait times and lower transportation costs. A second crossing provides redundancy, making supply chains more resilient. Manufacturers in Michigan and across the Midwest benefit from faster, more reliable trade. Consumers benefit from lower costs. And diplomatic relations with Canada, America's largest trading partner, remain stable and cooperative. From an economic standpoint, opening the bridge strengthens the U.S. position, not weakens it. Canada's stakes are even higher. If the bridge is blocked, Canada loses billions of dollars in sunk costs. The country financed almost the entire project, including infrastructure on the U.S. side. A blockage would mean a massive financial loss with no return. Canada would also remain dependent on a privately owned U.S. bridge, something it has tried to avoid for years. And Canadian exporters, especially in the auto and agricultural sectors, would face higher costs and reduced competitiveness. For Canada, the economic logic overwhelmingly favors completion. If the bridge opens, Canada gains a modern, publicly owned trade corridor that improves reliability and efficiency. It strengthens supply chains, supports manufacturing, and ensures that the country is not dependent on a single private crossing. It also recovers its investment through long-term economic gains and toll revenue. When you put all of this together, the bottom line becomes clear. Blocking the bridge imposes economic costs on both countries, but especially on Canada and on U.S. businesses that rely on efficient trade. The primary beneficiaries of a blockage would be the private owners of the Ambassador Bridge and political actors who gain from framing the issue in symbolic terms. Allowing the bridge to open, on the other hand, benefits both economies, strengthens supply chains, reduces costs, and supports long-term competitiveness. The Gordie Howe International Bridge is not just a construction project. It's a strategic piece of North American infrastructure. The controversy surrounding it is not about the economics, because the economics are overwhelmingly clear. It's about the political incentives layered on top. Understanding those incentives helps explain why a project that benefits both countries can still become a point of tension. Understanding global economics often means looking past the headlines. It actually means focusing on the incentives underneath the headlines. If you'd like more clear, structured explanations like this one, you're welcome to explore the rest of the channel. Thanks for spending your time here.